Hi, attorneys and law firm business development people. Learning how to say no when you're building goals and using lists to help you get to that point of having achievable goals, starting broad, and then getting smaller to facilitate your business development. So, how to grow legal practice using lists to build goals. That's what we're going to do in this short video today. I know how difficult it can be to do business development as an attorney. They never taught you in law school how to build a legal practice. I hear this all the time. You want to make more money, have less stress, have a life. That's where I come in. I do coaching one-on-one with attorneys. I work with law firms and business development and marketing departments on business development for lawyers. Down below in the description or the comments is a link to my free ebook that just came out. Builds on this topic and has a lot more in it. Over 35 pages on how to grow a legal practice. It's free. Get that. It'll be a great start for you if you're not doing business development. If you're currently doing good client work, good business development, it might help you hone your skills. Maybe show you a few things that you haven't used before. So part of business development is goal setting. Landing on 3 goals for the next year is really key in the other sessions I do on setting goals, on doing a business plan for attorneys, and what those different components look like. But when we're talking about setting goals, it's really critical to land on 3 for the coming 12 months, but take your time getting there. That's what we're going to talk about today. Using lists to build out what all of your opportunities might look like, and then narrowing that back into the 3 that are going to matter most to you and where you can be the most effective. We're going to talk about how to use lists to do that. 2 stories. The first one comes from Apple. Steve Jobs used to get all of their people together at an annual planning conference. It was all day long in Hawaii, so it was rough. In the morning, all of the different departments would throw out what their goals were for the coming 12 months. We should be developing this product, this service, this software, that whatever it happened to be, iTunes. Imagine all the things that Apple could focus on for the coming year. And they were very robust about it. And Jobs would have a big whiteboard up there, and he'd be writing down what everyone's ideas were. They'd have some back and forth. They'd hash it through. They'd come up with this big list of things that Apple could potentially do over the next 12 months. They'd come back in the afternoon. Jobs would cross off all but 3 and leave. These are the 3 things that we're going to do, and we're going to do them really well. Instead of trying to do 10 things and have them be done okay, maybe especially for us attorneys, because we don't have a lot of time, it's one of our scarcest resources. So we're spreading ourselves too thin. It might produce, it would produce so-so results. But if you can really focus, if you can take that idea of, and I talk about this in the business planning session, when you're at that point of coming up with all the things that you can do, it's a great moment. Oh my gosh, I can do that. I need to be better with LinkedIn. I need to reach out to this client. I want to develop my referral networks better. And there's all these things. I want to present at an event. I want to write 2 articles for the coming year. You might come up with all kinds of things, and watch that other session I have on business planning to get a better idea of what some of those goals might be. And then bring it down to something that is actionable, that's actually doable. There's a whole nother session on that. SMART goals, and I go through what those mean for you. But this session is about using lists, getting every opportunity out there. Don't filter yourself at the beginning, because there's real value in building lists and then focusing. Our second story, it comes from the Wayback Machine. They teach this in business school, so that's why I'm using it. Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world, Carnegie Steel, at the height of his powers. There was another guy who was starting a business called management consulting. His name was Frederick Taylor. So Taylor and Carnegie happened to meet at some New York party. They're across the room from each other, And Carnegie knows who Taylor is. Of course, Taylor knows who Carnegie is. Wow, wouldn't this be a great client to land? And Carnegie says, as you see there, young man, if you can tell me something about management that's worth hearing, I'll send you a check for $10,000. This was before there were consultants. This is when DuPont and Carnegie and Ford and all companies kind of did their own management planning, their own strategic planning. There wasn't the idea of bringing in Bain or McKinsey or KPMG or some other outside firm to help you with your planning. They all did it themselves. So Carnegie didn't know that Taylor might have something that would be useful for him. Taylor responds, Mr. Carnegie, I advise you to make a list of the 10 most important things you can do and tomorrow start on number 1. The point here is Taylor doesn't know what Carnegie needs to do at his business. Well, I need to build a new foundry over there. We need to improve railroad tracks into this distribution center. Whatever Carnegie's got going on at Carnegie Steel, he knows what it is. But Taylor's advice is make a list of the top 10 and start on number 1 tomorrow. So the story goes, a week later, Taylor receives a check for $10,000 from Carnegie. So the value here is list making, right? Somebody as robust as Carnegie Steel can still get value from getting it all out there. I'm advising you not to do 10. I'm advising you to do 3 because Carnegie had a lot more resources to carry out all the stuff that they wanted to do. But for you, for your legal practice or for your firm, take that moment or take whatever time is necessary to get all those great ideas out there and then winnow it down, like Apple does, like Taylor was advising Carnegie to do. In the business plan session that I do, in the takeaways that the attendees, the people that I coach, receive, there's a section in there, and so I'm sharing it with you here. I'm not going to read the whole thing out. In fact, you might want to stop this and take time to really read through this because there's a bunch of value here. But when we come out of the goal setting portion of business planning, you can see the actions here. Making a list of 10 things, reviewing it in terms of SMART goals, specific, measurable, time-bound, etc. Narrow that down to 3 goals and then build those out a little bit in 3 sentences. What does that goal mean? As you're business planning, as you're setting broad goals and then narrowing it down, scope those out a little bit. What do I mean by those 3 that I want to do? How do I want to accomplish them? What does success look like? This is fairly standard business planning, business strategic planning, but it'd be really helpful for you if you're all by yourself on a Saturday morning filling this out, coming up with these ideas. This is great guidance for you. I think there's real gold in this one page here, so take time to review it. Okay, and then you can see there, extrapolate that. How are you going to achieve those over the next 12 months? Frequent, small, consistent steps are what are going to win the day for you. So once you have a broad list, once you've narrowed it down to 3 goals, and you've built those out a little bit to see what they look like for you, the key in business development for you is small, consistent, regular steps. It's not a big, oh my gosh, I'm going to change it all this weekend. I applaud your enthusiasm. That's great. But just every week, knock off 3 little things that you can do. I'm going to send that email. I'm going to work on my presentation. I'm going to review the list of attendees that are at a session or a conference I'm going to in 2 weeks. Whatever the 3 small actions are that move you along consistently and regularly, create more interest. They create small wins. You procrastinate less. You get excited about business development. And as the course of that year goes by, at the end when we were reviewing all that you've achieved, you realize, wow, it was great setting goals, and then it was excellent having small little steps that moved me along and kept me on track during the course of that year, so I realized my goals. Wow, that was a lot to cover, but really helpful information for you, I hope. If so, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm dropping new content regularly. Get that free ebook. It's in the description or the comments down below. A link to 35 pages of this information, but also a lot more on how to grow your legal practice. Hopefully all this is helpful for you. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.